All right, Shalom. First off, I want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh. Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKadosh. That's all praises who the world calls God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh. Shalakia. By Hashem meaning in the name, and Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. I also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect. Preaching truth and preaching His word and truth and sincerity on the brother Tazabah, the Great Millstone, Arizona camp. Lord will with another video to edify, and this is really going to touch on really a little bit of a mindset and a character builder type lesson. It was very good for brothers that are just coming in this, because a lot of younger brothers is waking up. A lot of people are coming to this thing. Hey, and being in the world for so long, right? Seeing L after L within your personal family structure, right? Kind of beats down the mindset of right, really being motivated to make something happen, right? And then you come into the truth and you understand that the lot is in the Lord's hand, you know, and how everything's go down. And you kind of roll in that mindset of the Lord will handle it, right? Which the Lord does, right? But it might work a mindset of being lax and not being really forthright in your actions, right? Not really being right, too determined and deliberate in your actions when you do things, right? So that's really what this lesson is going to get at, because us coming into this thing, us being, you know, molded back into the, you know, the mindset of the former man, right? Back when things were in the right state, right? That kingly mindset. When you really think about royalty and people that those royal lineage, everything is done in a very intentional manner. Everything is done in a very deliberate manner, right? And when you come to the truth, you know, that is a spirit that you have to intensify, right? That's a spirit that you shape in this thing, right? Because you're no longer going to act like those in the world. Like niggas in the world, yo, they basically meander through life. And I'm going to get that word as well. They meander through life, right? Whatever comes, right? They want something, but they don't actually do all the steps to get it, and they think they're going to get it. When you come into this truth, it's nothing wrong with you wanting a certain thing, because the scriptures tell you, let me get this. Right? Let me get this. This is, I believe it's in the book of Sirach. It's Sirach 14:11. It says, "My son, according to thy ability, do good to thyself, and give Yahweh his due offering." Right? So according to your ability, it's all right for you to get good things. Right? It's all right for you to want something nice and for you to work to get it. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? But Jake in the world, they'll look at something, say they want it, and don't do the actions to actually make those things come to pass, and it causes a mindset of failure, because those things don't come because they never take the real actions to make those things happen. Well, within you coming to the truth, right? Within you coming into the truth, now it's time to have a mind of intentionality. That is a royal mindset. right? Leaders are intentional. They're deliberate in what they say, what they do, how they act, how they move, what they allow to come across, right? What they allow to be seen. And when you coming into this truth, especially the men, when you coming into this truth, right? You're coming into the body. It's important to master the mindset and the means to be intentional, right? So when you go into the word intentionality, right, it says the fact of being deliberate, purposive, right? It says quality of mental states, thoughts, beliefs, desires, hopes that consist in their being directed towards some object or state of affairs, right? Always having a mindset that what you're doing is towards a purpose. This is for this. This is why I'm letting this to go out. This is why I'm letting this be seen. It's always having your mind set on a goal and all your actions around that, right? You being in this truth, your goal is what? To do your videos, to be brotherly, do your studying, be able to go out there and prophesy. And so what do you do to be able to do those things, right? You read, you pray, you fast if you need to, right? You watch the elders and apostles videos. You look at the news to stay update on current events, right? And you compare those to the scriptures and you prepare your mind for these things. Those are intentional acts that need to be spread throughout your entire life, right? When you go into this word purposive, right? It says having, serving, or done with a purpose. Everything is done with a purpose. You go to the word deliberate, done consciously and intentionally. And that's what we have to be in this truth. Things have to be done consciously and intentionally, because a lot of times coming out of the world and seeing these things, now you have the understanding that the Lord is with you and he's walking with you. Men might come in and be lax about the intentional part, about walking through your own personal walk, right? You might be doing videos. You might be on fire in the spirit. But as far as handling your things, right? Working towards goals personally for yourself, being able to set yourself up, you're not being intentional and you're meandering. Right? When you go into this word meander, it says of a river or road, follow a winding course. So you just become a go with the flow type man. You know you need more money. You know you hate your job, right? You know it's not enough for what you need. But instead of you making intentional moves to get in a better position, you just go with the flow. You hope the Lord gets it. Oh, the brothers will make up for this. I always call the brothers for this. I can do this and that, right? We had a guy in the camp like that. His name was Harmon. He's old camp head. Instead of him being intentional with how he operated, he looked at brothers as a scapegoat, as bank accounts, which is nothing wrong with a brother needing help. Brother's gonna need help. But is everything wrong and you're not sitting there trying to make sure that you do all your part to make it easier for that help to come, right? So we can't walk through life and meander. This is a character building lesson, right? So let's get into some of these scriptures, man. And I'm gonna get one scripture and then we'll get into this. This is Lamentations 3. Right? And this is just a reference of how many times in the scriptures you can get instances of that intentional mindset that the scriptures allude to consistently. It says, right? This is Lamentation 3:33. It says, "For he did not afflict willingly, nor grieve the children of men, to crush to crush under his feet all the prisoners of the earth. Right? This is talking about the Lord. The Lord does not operate to sit here and just flaunt all your damn plans. Right? So if something doesn't work out, it might be because the Lord doesn't think it's time for you to have that, but that doesn't mean the Lord is just making sure all your plans fail. Don't get in the mindset of, oh, I'm gonna just go with whatever comes. You hustle. You make sure things go. You make plans. You make moves. You make deliberate actions. And when you make those deliberate actions, you show forth a pattern of works that you can carry on into the truth to show to another brother, hey, this is how you move. This is how you operate. You got to think far enough ahead to do this and that. You want to do these things. They're great for your walk. This provides a framework for other people you get around. They see that godly, kingly mindset on you, right? It says to crush under feet all the prisoners of the earth, to turn aside the right of a man before the face of the Most High, to subvert a man and his cause. Yahweh approve it not. See, the Lord isn't operating just to sit here and knock you off your cause. The Lord doesn't approve not. But when you're going off in a way that's not right, then he has to knock you off of that. Right? So the Lord is all about plan. The Lord is in favor of us, man. The Lord really is in favor of brothers, bro. Right? Especially if you're going about with something in a righteous manner, right? With a righteous mindset towards it. You're being brotherly in the process. The Lord is going to fight and make sure something happens positively. But you got to be intentional about every option, everything you do to make those things go forward. Now, I'm going to get this article that I found that is cold, man. It says 19 character traits of intentional and impactful leaders, right? When you go down on this, right, it says intention. Your intent forms the basis for all your words and actions. That's an intentional thing. So what you allow to come out of your mouth among brothers, what you allow to be put forth, you merit those to form a basis of a perception of how you want brothers to act, move, right? Think, because your words have power, right? You can put out a mindset and a way to move that can encourage brothers to be more bold in the spirit, to be more, to walk more in faith. These things are important. It says set it consciously to communicate and act more consistently. It says curiosity, one of the defining characteristics of the modern world, is rapid and increasing rate of change. Curiosity is one way to learn and adapt more quickly. So never being stagnant in your understanding. Right? Like the scriptures say, always abounding. Right? Let's get that. Here it is. It says 1 Corinthians 15:58. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of Yahweh, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain. Right? You're staying steadfast, unmovable. You always have a mindset to move in this thing, to grow. That's that curiosity factor. It says agency. Reject all but the most justified and immutable constraints. Constraints, right? Immutable means to unchanging constraints. You reject everything but those things that are constant, that cannot be changed. It says you have the right and ability to act in accordance with your intention to get what you want. Right? It's nothing wrong with having a goal and a purpose that you want. It says balance. Too much of anything can ultimately be harmful, right? Like the scriptures tell you. All things must be kept in proper proportion in order to for them to remain constructive and useful. Right? I'm jump. It says right here. It says ownership. Take maximum responsibility for the circumstances and outcomes of your life. Focus on focus on the only thing you can truly control, yourself. This allows you to improve and grow more quickly, right? So always having a mindset towards your own actions, constantly having self-reflection, right? There was another one on this that was cold. It says, courage. Yeah, here it is. It says, consistency, having the discipline to do things consistently, well over the sustained period, is the difference between dreamers and doers, right? Is how leaders follow through on their goals long after the initial burst of the excitement fades, right? So especially when you coming into this truth, what? You're gun ho, you're fiery in the spirit, but then that hell starts to kick and you start slowing down, right? This is when being intentional, applying these ways in this mindset, right, helps. It says wisdom. Wisdom is difficult, but it is not mystical, right? It is a skill you can master with intentional effort. To do so, you must practice learning the right lesson and effectively applying them at the right time. Always being intentional. What you allow to be said, what you allow to come across, right? Things you bring up, how much joking, how much laughing, because all these things can cause a lack of transparency and understanding to go out, right? But let's get into the rest of these scriptures, man. This is Proverbs 24, and I'll put that article in the thing. Proverbs 24 and 27. It says, every man, verse 27 says, prepare thy work without and make it fit for thyself in the field, meaning planning, and afterwards build thine house, right? So you always have a mindset, oh, I'm going to do this first, I'm going to do that first. It's literally a conscious effort to put all your ducks in a row to make sure something happens, right? We're not going to be willy-nilly in this thing. That's what niggas do in the world. They're willy-nilly, so then they're always without. They're having a hard time because they never plan. All right, just like in the movie Friday After Next. All right, Friday After Next. That's the one where they had the little Christmas party they went to, right? Or next Friday. I can't remember, man. I can't remember. It's one of them. But that's what happens, right? Them niggas were living very intentional, right? Unintentional. They just basically meandered and do whatever the fuck was going on, right? We're not supposed to operate like that in this thing. We were set up to be kings and priests, right? So we prepare our work, like the scriptures say, and make it fit for ourselves in the field. Meaning we look out, we do these things, we do things and operate for ourselves in order to make sure that we can operate for other brothers. That's how it goes, man. It's being intentional, right? Colossians 3:23. And it says, whatsoever you do, do it heartily, right? That takes planning. For you to do something heartily, you got to learn it, right? You apply yourself to it, right? For whatsoever you do, do it heartily as to Yahweh and not unto man, right? That all takes very, very much having a mindset to actually break these things down, go into it, everything, man. Right? This is Sirach 2. And 14, it says, Ecclesiastes 2. So like Ecclesiastes 2 and 14. It says a wise man's eyes are in his head, right? Always thinking, right? Always planning, always thinking about the outcome of this, outcome of that, because everything is done with a goal in mind, right? It says, but the fool walketh in darkness. And that's what niggas do. They walk in darkness. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what they have to do for this goal that they have for themselves. And they just shoot in the dark, blindly walking, not actually even thinking about the next move, next course of action. It says, and I myself perceived also that one event happening to them all. Right? This is Luke 14 and 28. I'll jump down on it too. It's going to be the last one. This is another instance that shows you. I think I have one more after this, actually, man. Let's see. No, this is it. Luke 14 and 28. All right, this is another instance of being intentional. This shows you there has to be some intentionality in this thing. You have to very much think about the entire picture, the outcome, what you want to perceive, what you want to put out there for the goal in mind, right? It says for which of you intending to build a tower, sitting not down first and counted the cost, right? Meaning you looked at everything. You looked at the cost of the goods, the plans, you wrote down the plans, you picked the spot, right? You made sure you had the money to build that tower. Says whether he have it sufficient to finish it, right? Now I'm gonna jump down to verse 30 because I'm just gonna get the points up and went off this. It says, or what king doth make war against another king, sit it not down first, and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000, right? That means you're surveying what you have. Who's on your team? How well does this man move? Right? The scenery for where the battle's going to go down. Positioning. Meeting him in the field first. Right? That's war is a very intentional thing. Right? It's fully thought out. Right? This is a concept that's in the scriptures that we're coming back to, right? Because being in this world is beating that out of you. You've had to been raised by women who don't ever actually roll on any intentionalities. They go, shit goes. They deal with what comes in. They take whatever's brought. Women were not made to go out and get it. Now you're being brought back to that mindset of a man that goes out and gets, right? So become very intentional in this thing. Really consider all your actions, what you're allowing to go out there, and is it fitting in with that goal, right? Is what you're doing fitting in with the goal of what you're doing in this truth, right? Lord willing to edify, I'm going to say call Allah, Yahweh Shema, Shabbat, Shema, Karkada, Shalom.